going on, guys? Ben Hodge here, and my client Dave Nace. We're going to be getting into some questions here. Basically, going to be interviewing him / getting into some bodybuilding questions. Figured this could be valuable for some people starting out in this sport. So we're going to go ahead and begin. As I said, this is Dave. We're going to talk about how he got into bodybuilding, what he did before, and such. I guess the first question would be, what did you do before bodybuilding that led you to it?
So, always been active. Always loved going to the gym, played sports growing up. Soccer, track throughout high school, picked up hockey in college.
Mm-hmm.
Always active, but didn't really start lifting until I was in the Army and I was deployed. Didn't really know what I was doing. Went up with a few of my buddies. And when you're deployed, you got nothing else to do at the end of the day except play video games or go to the gym, nothing else. So went to the gym, started learning, started trying to understand supplements. Everything was all pre-workout at the time.
Yeah, pre-workouts are very
back in the day
abused.
Of original Jack 3D.
Yeah, I think we all know what that is.
So got into it, came back to school, continued lifting. Nothing serious, but was always in there. Just wanted to maintain decent physique, stay in shape.
Mm-hmm.
Much like I said, played hockey, wanted to stay in shape for that.
Right.
And then,
So what eventually led you to wanting to do a competition?
So I had said for years, I'm going to do a show.
Mm-hmm.
I want to. Just coming up with excuses of, now's not the right time, life's crazy. And then met Ben at the gym one day. Seen him there often, and he was in prep for, was that Easterns, probably?
Yeah, it would have been 2018.
Yeah.
2018 prep, getting ready for Eastern USA's.
Was in prep and kind of picking his brain a little bit about it. And he's like, hey, if you ever want to do this, just hit me up. Here's my information.
Yeah.
A few months later, I was like, you know what? I've put this off too much. I got to prove to myself I can do it. It's for no one else but me. I was like, yo, let's do a show. Had no idea what I was getting myself into. I just knew it was going to suck. So
yeah. And honestly, with a lot of people, that's kind of how it needs to be. Like, there's never going to be like, oh, okay, now I'm going to compete. It's like you kind of just have to like rip the Band-Aid off and just do it. Because there's always going to be something that you're preoccupied with, whether that be school, work, or like whatever. Like literally anything could get in the way of it. And a lot of times when you do start a prep, things pop up, and stuff happens. And the only thing to do is just continue and keep it going because, that happens to everybody. There's no such thing as a perfect prep. There's always stuff that comes up. And honestly, it seems like things come up more when it's prep time than any other time.
Oh, absolutely.
It's like, oh, you're in prep? Okay, well, I'm going to make your elbow hurt now. So
oh, yeah.
It's just always shit like that. But anyway, so Dave and I got together, started working together. We got him through his first prep. And competed in, was it Kentucky something?
Kentucky Open.
Yeah, okay. So was that like, I can't remember, that was just NPC Kentucky, like the state show, or?
Yeah, they run 3 shows in Kentucky, and that was like the state show.
Okay. So that was the state show in Kentucky. What'd you place? You got third?
Third in open, fourth in novice.
Gotcha, yeah. But really, a lot of times, like, people's first show, it's really just to test it out, see what they like. Because, there's no possible freaking way to know that you like bodybuilding without doing a prep. You got to do a prep first, and then once you do that, if you still like it, then you probably are going to like it a lot. I've seen there's one of 2 ways it'll go. You'll either be obsessed with it or you'll hate it and not do it again.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much how it goes. But anyway, how was your first prep? Like, what is something that maybe happened to you that you didn't expect to happen? How did you manage it? How did you get through, sort of thing?
So, I think you set me up pretty well going into it of expectations, but you can only tell people so much about what to expect until they actually experience it themselves.
Right.
And I think the biggest thing for me was avoiding outside distractions and temptations. Because, so I bartend and serve, and I love craft beer. And it was very tough to put those things aside, because when I'm bartending and I have guests like, hey, how's this taste? What's new? What's good? And you just got to go, I don't know.
Don't know. Can't
and
drink it.
And I had to explain myself probably 3-4 times a night every single week for 16 weeks. And that was definitely challenging.
Explaining to people like, hey, I can't eat this. They're like, why? One won't hurt. Like,
nah. So it was okay. You know what? We'll give this a little sniff, see what aromas I can get. But that was pretty much it. So avoiding those outside temptations. Friends, hey, come out with us. We're going out. It's like, hey, you know what? I'll go out, but I'm a DD. I'm not consuming anything. I'm not. I'm here to support, have fun, but avoiding those outside temptations was definitely challenging, especially because I had before it was like, yeah, absolutely, let's go out, let's go do this or that.
Yeah, there's my fire alarm.
It was the crack pipe, wasn't it?
Yeah,
definitely the crack pipe.
All right, well, it's going to be cropped out, but my fire alarm went off because it feels the need to go off every time we get out of the shower, because somehow steam equals smoke. But yeah, so we were talking about struggles in prep and how to avoid them, how to cope, things like that. So yeah, honestly, whenever you're in a prep, it's important to maintain balance, but at the same time, it's not going to be balanced because what we're doing is extreme. Doing everything that's required to be in contest shape, you can't have a normal life. You really can't. I mean, you can try your best to hang out with friends, do all these other things, but let's say your friends want to go out, which we were just talking about, can't drink, can't eat. If everybody else is drunk and you can't eat and can't drink and can't be with them, you don't feel like you're a part of it, and you don't feel like it almost becomes pointless because you go out and everybody's having a good time and you're just there. So honestly, going out during prep, I wouldn't say don't do it, but it's very hard to do because it's just not the same. And most of the time, honestly, you just want to take a nap. So you don't really want to go anyway. Furthermore, when you're a bodybuilder or any facet of that, any other class, any of those divisions, you can't really drink. I mean, you can, but not to the extent that college students do, and not to the frequency that you may like. Like, I mean, if you're a average drinker and you have 3 nights a week where you drink, you can't do that anymore. You really can't. Maybe once a month. But I wouldn't even really count on it. And I honestly tell people, just don't do it because it's not really conducive to what we're doing. Alcohol in general does not support muscle growth. It inhibits protein synthesis, so it's not even really worth it to do. And I'm not saying at a wedding or something you want to have a glass of wine or something, you're not in prep. Fine, that's totally fine. But it's not something that I would really count on. I get my cheat in 2 weeks, I'm going to drink on that day. Wouldn't really think like that because it's not something to look forward to. But anyway, we're going to get into a couple of things here. Talked about first show, struggles of prep. Let's switch gears and talk about the off season, struggles to do with that. Straight off the bat, what would you say are the top struggles of being in an off season for a year or more?
So when you come out of the show, you're lean, shredded, vascular, and that goes away, and that's very sad to see.
Yeah, it is.
So seeing progress in off season is not what you see during a prep. So going through an off season and sending your check-in photos and just looking at other photos and video that you have from throughout that off season, you don't really notice much. Now, when you look over the course of 6 months, over a year, I know I just posted something that was 1 year and it didn't look all that different, but it was definitely a noticeable difference. But you don't get that from week to week, from day to day, like you do during your prep.
And something to add to that, when you're in the off season, don't look at yourself because it's not going to be week to week where it's like, oh yeah, my delt's a little bit bigger than that. Honest to God, it's going to look the exact same to you because you can't see it. A coach may be able to notice these things, but they're so slight that you're really not going to notice it even for an entire year unless you're new to it, because then the progress is pretty quick. Say you're just getting into it like your first or second year, you might see a pretty big change, but once you're like down the line into this, you will not see anything. You just won't. If anything, you'll think you're getting smaller, because we're all kind of crazy in the head and we think we're smaller all the time. And when you get more body fat on your body, holding more water, you do look a little smaller. You look bigger when you're lighter, when you're leaner. And that's just how it goes. So the best thing to do when you're in the off season is just make sure that you're getting stronger. That's a really good sign that you're getting bigger. Make sure that your appetite is up to par. If you can't eat, you won't grow. So you need to eat. If your appetite's becoming sluggish, you might need to back off a little bit, let your body rest. And actually what we both do on off days is we do no carbs until the last meal, and then you can do a cheat. What that does is, and this is not me, this is my coach Phil, he taught me that, and I'm using that with my clients as well. It allows you to resensitize for a day and sort of let the body clear out all the food. If you're hammering food every single day, we're eating 6 meals of a good quantity. Your body's not going to process that as fast as you think it is. So it's gonna compile and build up, and then that's gonna, your appetite's gonna suffer. So I take a rest day basically every 3 days, and I let my body digest. I do no carbs, and everything just sort of goes. It processes everything so that when you start eating again, you're able to do it, and it's not very hard. Not to say it's not hard, but easier than it would be if you didn't. Anyway, so that's off season. You can't really look at the mirror too much. I would honestly advise against it because you're going to overthink it. If you're able to process what you see in a positive way, sure. But most people are going to overthink that and think they're not progressing, nothing's happening. I would look at your strength. I would look at your progress in the gym. And I would also not look at the scale. We got a question actually on here from somebody, and they asked, let me get their exact question. They asked, are numbers on the scale the best indicator of fat loss? Well, you could go both ways. When you're in prep, I wouldn't look at the scale. When you're in off season, I wouldn't look at the scale. All I would do is get that number and send it to your coach because they know how to interpret it. But whenever you're in prep, you can lose weight. You can lose fat and gain muscle at the same time, and then the scale's not going to do anything. Or it could be a day where you're more stressed out, and then the morning after you're holding some water and your weight goes up a little bit. It does not mean that you're not losing fat. So people seem to forget that 195 pounds is not fat. Like when you go down 2 pounds, that could mean you lost water, that could mean you lost fat, could mean a multitude of things. So you really can't look at it as I lost a pound every week, because losing a pound doesn't mean you lost a pound of fat. And same in the off season, whenever you're growing. Just because you shot up 7 pounds does not mean you gained 7 pounds of muscle. If I could gain 7 pounds of muscle for every off season the rest of my life, I'm good. Like, that'd be awesome. But that's not how it works. I gained, I think, like 11 pounds over 2 years. So that's what, like 5 pounds a year for a lot of food and a lot of training. You can't look at it like that. So no, the scale is not the best indicator of that. Track your progress in the gym, your performance, that's the best indicator to look at that. And then obviously work with a coach because they know a little more than you do. No offense to the average mind. But anyway, so that's that. Let's get into the next one here. This is a short one. What's your go-to cheat meal?
Pasta or Five Guys?
Ooh, pasta. So like Italian with like a lot of marinara, or are you more like an Alfredo?
Specifically gnocchi.
Ooh, I don't know what that is.
It's potato pasta.
Oh, God.
It's fantastic.
You just get it at Kroger?
Yeah. Gnocchi with vodka sauce and ground chicken.
Oh, God.
That's the go-to.
That sounds pretty good, honestly. Probably digests pretty well, too.
Yeah.
Mine, honestly, here's the thing. My go-to cheat, there's like 2 levels here. My go-to cheat when I don't care and I just want to eat something that I really like, pizza. I'm a pizza lover. Like, I can't get enough of that. But pizza with all the dairy and all the fats and greasiness, it's not too nice in the off season. I mean, even in prep, it's not that great. But you're so hungry in prep, you just process that so well. But in off season, like I don't know, like I can't really get away with it because it just wrecks me, and then I'm not hungry for a couple of days because my body's working on it. It just doesn't go well. But if I'm looking for like a constructive, like wholesome cheat, I work at Outback Steakhouse, so I get a 11-ounce sirloin with a sweet potato and either rice or fries or something like that. Because honestly, like what is that? That's potatoes and steak, right? I mean, that's not anything terrible. I'm going to grow off of it.
That's what you're eating anyway.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
It's
Anyway, it
different
just tastes a little bit better. There's some more fats in there to make it taste
That's where I'm
better.
going with mine. Gnocchi,
Right.
potato.
Yeah, no,
as
it
well.
just digests well and it doesn't sit with me. And honestly, it powers my workout the next day. Like I feel really good in the gym after that. So that's, where I would go. Yeah, I like burgers, but if I had to pick burgers over pizza, I probably wouldn't. I'd always pick pizza. So there's that. Go-to cheats. When to rest. That's a really good one. Why don't you talk about what you've learned through working with me and rest days?
Well, especially on current split, I rest every 2-3 days. If I do 3 days in a row, my third training session is not going to be up to par.
Yeah.
Got to feel the body. How are my joints feeling? How's my recovery? How's my energy? How's my digestion? If I feel bloated and sluggish, I'm probably not going to have the greatest workout.
No.
But, I program in at least every Tuesday or Wednesday and every Friday as a rest day.
Mm-hmm.
Just with my schedule, I have to.
Yeah.
But, feel the body out depends on what you did the day before. If you did a heavy upper day followed by a heavy leg day, guess what? You're going to need the next day off because even if you're just doing arms,
the muscles in your body.
Even if you're just doing arms, you're going to be just dragging through it. Mm-hmm. So give yourself that day off. That extra recovery is key. And too many times, we have the mindset of, if I'm not in the gym, I'm not progressing. Not always.
Yeah, I mean, to add to that statement I hear all the time, and that seems to be a very common mindset. If I'm not working out 5-6 days a week, I'm not getting bigger, I'm not progressing. We honestly seem to forget that we do not grow in the gym. The whole point of going to the gym is to stimulate your muscles to the point where they're going to want to adapt and get bigger. Now that goes both ways. You can't do too little, you can't do too much. Because if you do too much, think of it as digging a hole. If you're digging a hole, and let's say you fill it up a little bit every day, you got to fill it back up to ground level, right? But if you're still down there and then you go to dig more and more and more, you're not going to come back. And you're not going to grow. Simply put, you work out too much, you're not going to grow. You grow whenever you sleep and you eat enough food. So rest days are extremely important. You can even look at like Dorian Yates. He did 4 days a week. We don't know exactly what he did, but that's common knowledge that he was a 4-day-a-week kind of guy. He's said that many times, and you know that. The only person in history that I really know can get away with working out all the time, really heavy, is Ronnie Coleman.
Well, he's a freak of nature.
He's a freak of nature. That's just how it works. But the majority of people are going to need more rest than that. And no insult to the king himself, but I don't want to live like that either, how he is currently. So you need to rest more than you think. So yeah, that's a pretty important tool with off season. Let's see here. Pre-contest relationships. So what I was getting at with that is, how do you talk to your coworkers? How do you talk to your parents if you still live with them or you still have contact with them? Friends, all that kind of thing. Because when you're in prep, your patience is low, your energy is low. It's nobody understands what you're doing, and it's like, why are you making yourself starve? Why are you doing this? And they don't really see the point of it. They almost think it's kind of dumb. So let's get into that. Let's talk about first coworkers, because I know we both have coworkers. But how did you deal with working with your coworkers throughout prep?
So I know very, very early on. None of my friends, well, prior to this,
Yeah,
they were not in the fitness world the way we are. okay, maybe they have a fitness Instagram page and they post some workouts here and there.
Yeah.
I mean, that's great. Nothing wrong with that. But no one that I knew was in the competition world. So everything that I was doing was a foreign concept to everyone. And having to explain what it was I was doing, why I was doing it, you had to get through. And it took a long time for a lot of people to kind of understand why you couldn't do this or that, or why you had to get meals in at certain times, or just, various little things that it's a complete foreign concept to a lot of people. And unless you're in this, you don't really understand. You can observe, but you don't really understand until you actually do it. Mm-hmm. So fortunately, my full-time job, I'm a banker. I get to sit on my butt for 40 hours a week. We weren't super busy, so getting meals in and that was not too hard. But, when we had work luncheons and stuff like that, it's like, hey guys, thanks, but I'm going to sit here and observe.
Can't eat that.
That was challenging. And my boss, she liked to kind of pick at me and be like, sit down in front of me eating a donut or something. And I'm like, all right, you're going to have to get out of here. Yeah. I think it's funny. I'm like, nope.
It's actually not funny. Like, I would love to eat that donut, but fuck you.
The further you get into prep and the more depleted you are, the lower your food gets. Now, my first prep, we didn't have a whole lot of food to pull out. So I was on 0 carbs probably 6 or 7 weeks in.
Yeah.
That was challenging, keeping that energy up at work and, just trying to convey what it was you were doing to them until they understood, all right, this is what's going on.
Well, another thing, actually, most people don't understand what it feels like to be deficient in energy from food, because the average person eats more than enough that they need for the day. And when you're eating less, because that's how you diet, that's how you get shredded. You eat less than what you need so that your body pulls it from somewhere else, fat stores. So that feeling of fatigue and not eating enough to function is very draining, and people don't realize what that feels like.
It's a different kind of hangry.
Right,
people say, "Oh, I'm hangry because I haven't eaten at all."
Yeah, but it's like
it's a different.
But it's
you don't understand it until you've been there.
It's very draining.
It makes you moody. It makes, whereas low as my food was, you get cravings. So trying to deter those cravings, but also being moody. I remember going to my coworkers, especially when I was bartending, being like, "Hey, I apologize in advance to anyone that I snap at or offend tonight. I promise it's not me. It's just." The depleted state talking. And I think if you can...
Let's pause it there. I got to mention this. When you're in prep, another thing, like, it is annoying that nobody understands what's going on, but it's not their fault. That's another thing that I think is extremely missed with people competing. It's your fault, man. You decided to do it. So if someone's making fun of you for not eating enough, yeah, it's annoying, but at the end of the day, you can't expect them to understand because they have no idea what you're doing. And it's your fault that you're hungry because you want to do a bodybuilding competition. So I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm the perfect person. Of course, I've gotten mad at family members, people when I'm in prep, but it's something that really a lot of people need to work on and try not to do. If you know that you're going to get mad at a certain person because of how you are and you're in prep, don't go see that person. Like, you're not going to benefit their life by going over there and getting mad at them for saying something that would not even be irritating if you weren't in prep. So, it's picking your battles and choosing, like, okay, is this going to piss me off? Well, let's just not do that then. Because, it's at the end of the day, you decided to do it, and it's you who needs to end it and finish it. So I just wanted to put that out there because a lot of people are like, oh, he's pissing me off because I'm, hungry. It's like, well, okay, but that's not a good enough reason. Like it's your fault you're hungry. It's not like you can't afford more food. It's not like you're incapable of eating more food. You have some sort of disease. It's your fault, okay? You chose to do this. So embrace it, get through it, do your best. And at the end of the day, if there's people in your life that are still there and helping you, those are the real people that you need in your life. Like for me, my parents, my fiance, you and my other friends, like they stuck around because they know I'm not always like this, and I'm actually a pretty happy person when I'm not in prep. But when you're in prep and you're 4 or 6 weeks out, you can't think about anything else.
No.
Nothing else matters.
And you also have the blinders on at that point in time that you've got a deadline, so you just got to put your head down and go for it. So
yeah,
and I've always been good at picking and choosing my battles. What's worth getting all excited over and what's not.
Mm-hmm.
So I know for me personally, and my personality, that was relatively easy to get through. But I also made it a point that throughout my prep, no matter how tired I was, how hungry I was never going to vocalize any of that.
That's very important.
And because everyone around you, they know you're tired. They can look at your face and they know you're struggling.
Yeah. You look like shit.
But I made it a point. I was like, I will not complain about being hungry. I'll say, hey, I got to go get a meal and it's time. But I would never sit there and be like, oh, I'm so starving. I'm so hungry. I'm so tired.
Yeah.
And if you can do that, props to you. But it's not easy.
Yeah. I mean, another thing, and I honestly, recently I've gotten into understanding this. When you say that you're hungry, you are telling yourself that you're hungry. It's going to make it worse. It's almost one of those like fake it till you make it sort of things. Mm-hmm. If you don't give it any light and give it any attention, it's not as bad. Because you notice, like, say you're busy, and this can go for anybody. Like, say you're hungry and then like something comes up, you got to go do something. You forget about that hunger because you're busy. Now, if you're sitting there thinking about it, wallowing in your fucking self-pity, that's not going to do anything. It's just going to make you more hungry. And honestly, for some people that are a little weaker minded than others, you may cheat at that point. So word of advice, stay preoccupied, stay productive, stay busy. You're not going to be as hungry when you're doing that. Honestly, my last prep, I was so busy that I didn't really have hunger issues. Like I was always working or, obviously at the gym, doing other stuff. I was always preoccupied. It was only until 2 weeks out that the job I was doing actually let me go because it was a seasonal position. They let me go. It was kind of like saving me, honestly, because it was outside and it was really physical. And they let me go. So my last 2 weeks of prep, all I had to worry about was my prep. I didn't have work. So that was really nice. But because I had that job, I always had something coming, something I had to do. So I really, the hunger part for this last prep was really not that bad. Now in past ones, yeah, I've wanted to eat my fingers off. But this one was really not that bad because I was so busy. So that's another thing that is pretty important.
Keep yourself occupied. Keep your mind off of it.
Yeah, I mean, you can't, like if you go up to a squat set and you're like, damn, that's heavy. You're damn right it's going to feel heavy because you just admitted it. I'm not saying don't understand that it's heavy, but don't be like, shit, that's going to suck. Because then, yeah, it's going to suck. Anyway, let's see what else we got on here. And if there's nothing else, we will go ahead and wrap it up. Oh, cool. Some more came in. What is an ideal size physique for someone 6'2" competing in classic physique? This question, with most questions in bodybuilding, it depends. Are you 6'2" and you are lighter than you look? Say you have better shape and you're able to look bigger? That could be the case. You may not need to put on as much muscle to look bigger. Now, there's really no way of saying 6'2" competing in classic physique. There's really no way of saying. You really just have to look as good as you can. I mean, you got to look a certain way for the judges, and that way is different for everybody. So that's, there's that. There's not much else to say about that. Do you follow a routine for stretching daily, or do you just do whenever? I should. Do you?
Warm-ups.
Well,
going into stuff. I
Yeah.
mean, I've got a routine, but working on my own mobility and flexibility at home, I am terrible at. I've been working on getting better.
Most people are. Yeah. I would say, if it were me, if I did what I should do, yeah, I would stretch every day and I would make an effort to do it. And honestly, my whole career, I've always tried to do it and keep up with it, but then I get lazy and I don't. But
it's one more thing to add into the day.
Right. I mean, we already do so
sometimes.
much. It's hard to fit another thing in. But honestly, that's a lousy excuse. Like, we should. Okay, you really should. And actually, what I've been doing lately on rest days, I'll go to the gym, and I take more rest days than my fiance. But I'll go to the gym with her, just keep her company and give her spots. And while she doesn't need me, I'll roll out with one of those rollers and I'll stretch. And I've been doing that on my off days, just to keep myself busy.
Foam rollers
They're
very helpful.
Yeah.
Foam roller, the massage sticks, or massage gun if you can afford one. Any of those.
Definitely, because what you got to remember is building up muscle tissue like that, it tightens you. You know, you lose mobility, and you want to maintain that mobility so that whenever you go and do an exercise, it's not in an awkward, dangerous position. So yeah, the answer to your question, no, I don't, but I should, and maybe after this video, I'll make a routine of doing it. So there you go. Front squat's good for overall leg mass. I'll let you go first.
I'm terrible at front squats. What I can back squat versus front squat, nowhere even close. I've never really focused on them too much, in all honesty. I feel like I'm putting a lot more stress on my shoulders, keeping stability on the movement. Now, obviously, you can use things like a V squat and manipulate it. Use the Smith machine, manipulate the movement. It's just never been a huge priority for myself.
Right. Yeah, and I'm sort of the same. I've never really hammered them in, mainly because, like, sure, you can front squat like this.
And that's how I do them.
But that hurts. I don't want to sound like a pussy, but, like, that hurts. To keep it like that and have 4 plates like that is pretty difficult. Now,
I don't have the range of motion to do a little
I
thing
can't fit my arms back like that.
Now,
so
one thing I have found that does kind of help a little bit is take your lifting straps. Your little cloth lifting straps, hold them on, and kind of do like a safety bar almost on it. It helps, but you're still, if you can't have that snatch hold on it, you're worried about the stability of it.
Yeah, it's just not comfortable. Now, are they good? Yeah, I would say they are. If you're somebody that can do them, do them. If you're looking for size in the quads, they're great for that. But if you can't, what I would suggest doing is a safety bar. That's the one where you hold it like this and put a wedge under your heels. That's what we both do right now in our quad days. And that isolates your quads pretty well. And you're able to progress them, I mean, in my opinion, better than a front squat because there's less thought of keeping it stable. Does having cereal, fast carbs matter compared to rice before or after a workout? No, it does not, actually. I would honestly say you want fast carbs pre or post-workout. Pre-workout, generally I don't do anything like cereal or like super bad like that. I don't even want to say bad. Super sugary, because it's probably going to make me sick. Because it's just, I mean, sure, I'll have it in there, but then when I go to get moving, get blood pumping, like, it's probably going to make me sick. So I'm going to want something that's a little bit cleaner than cereal pre-workout. I do Greek yogurt and a bagel, and that digests pretty well. It keeps you feeling full for a little bit.
It's lighter, less volume.
Right, a lot less volume. Compared to the other meals, it's really easy to get down, because I don't know about you guys, but I can eat yogurts like it's no one's business. I can just pound them down, not even
that's a
realize
10-minute meal right there.
Yeah, like it doesn't take any time at all. But post-workout, honestly, cereal is very underrated. People are afraid of it, and I think that stigma needs to be broken, because my last prep, I prepped doing cereal post-workout every workout, and I got pretty lean, I would say. I got pretty shredded. So, no, it does not matter. You can definitely do that, and I would honestly advise to do that, because the meal itself, if you do cereal and protein powder, both of those sources are very easily digestible. You're going to absorb it really quickly, and it's going to go to the muscle as fast as pretty much possible. I mean, I don't know another source that would be that fast.
And I kind of put in perspective. I mean, right now on a leg day, I got 2 scoops of whey isolate and 150 grams of carbs from cereal. If you were to put that into any other food, that is approximately 2 whole chicken breasts and 4 potatoes. or
lot.
like 3 or 4 cups of
Yeah.
rice. It's a lot of food. So if you can condense that down and get the same macros out of it, it makes you feel a lot better after the workout. Because you don't want, after a heavy leg day, you don't want to eat.
No, not really. No. And I got another thing that popped in my head about that, but yeah. So like Dave's saying, it's easy to get your calories in. If you're in the off season and you're struggling with eating, you're gonna have a little bit of an appetite post workout. Everybody kind of does, and you can use that to your advantage and just pound a bunch of cereal. Now I wouldn't, not measure it. I would definitely measure it just so you know how much you're eating, but 100 calories from cereal is way easier than 100 calories from rice. And I have actually had to do that once because I ran out of cereal and all I had was rice.
Calories or carbs?
Carbs.
Carbs, okay.
Carbs, yeah. Oh, my bad. I said calories. Yeah, I meant carbs. 100 carbs from cereal is way easier to eat than 100 carbs from rice. So, yeah, I had to actually eat rice instead of my cereal, and it was a mound of rice for 100 freaking carbs. So,
and it's nice that you get a little freedom, a little flexibility.
Right.
I think we both pretty much do Rice Krispies, which Rice Krispies are a great platform to, do I want vanilla protein today? Maybe I got cookies and cream, strawberry. You can put whatever you want in it, and you can change it up a little bit with still keeping the meal the same. And it gives you a little bit of excitement, especially when the rest of your diet may not be exciting.
Right. Yeah, it's let's be honest, we're not all robots. We at least I like to eat, okay? I like good tasting food. And when you're in a prep, it's honestly a really good treat, and it keeps you sane. I think part of the reason why my last prep was, better was because I had that. I had the post-workout cereal. I had Rice Krispies before training. And to the outside eye or ear, that might sound bad, but you can diet on that. It's really all down to calories, and
It's a good pick-me-up too.
Right, it's something to look forward to.
Phil talked about that in his video with Fuad.
Yeah,
talking about just how
the mood enhancement
helps the mood, and if you're depleted and 4 weeks out, you know what? That little bit of sugar right beforehand, it changes your entire attitude going in.
It just makes you feel a little bit better, and it's, as always, it's something to look forward to. So that's our standpoint on cereal. We got one more question here, and then we're going to wrap it up. It's kind of dumb. Between the two of you, who can kill the most dangerous animal? Man, I don't know. Shit.
You got the size and strength, but
yeah, but
I was in the Army, so
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I might look tough, but I won't tell them that because then I'll have people trying me. Anyway, I don't know. Okay, I don't know. This was Chase, by the way.
Oh, thanks, Chase.
Video guy. So thanks, buddy. But anyway, we're gonna wrap this up. Let me know in the comments section if you guys enjoyed this sort of thing. I've never really done anything like this on my YouTube, so if you guys do enjoy us just chatting away about bodybuilding topics, please let me know, and we'll keep it going. Other than that, if you liked it, give me a like. If you want more and you want to see more, make sure you subscribe so you can keep updated, and we'll catch you next time.